weighing on the markets. They have a funny way of showing it. In fact, they might welcome this because they don't like the idea of shoring up companies or taxpayer funds to do that. But it has been one of the things that's been rattling a lot of those health care insurers and some of the other in that area. But again, that's about the only area that's under pressure. Almost all of the sectors are up and up appreciably, as the Dow is up way over 23,000, 23,130. In case you're counting, that is a record. Any gain after yesterday, of course, would be a record. But this is one that knows no bounds here. In fact, a lot of folks are looking at this and wondering if this melt up, where there's just a frenetic pace of buying, is a healthy development in and of itself. Some worry about that sort of thing. Do my market watcher buddies Scott Martin and Larry Glazer, do they worry about that? Larry, what do you? Does that worry you?
It does worry me, Neil. Look, with the market spiking the way it has, certainly some level of tax reform is getting priced in at the current levels. And if you don't see that tax reform, that swift and sweeping comprehensive tax reform in short order, then you're going to see some level of disappointment. And small businesses have already become disappointed. You saw the Small Business Optimism Index begin to decline. So they haven't lost confidence in the American spirit, the American economy, or the ability to grow faster without burdensome regulation. They have lost confidence in the Treasury Secretary's ability to deliver on his promises. And I think that's the real concern, that may be reflected in the financial markets, and you could see market confidence begin to decline in short order as well. So that is something I'm really concerned about right now.
Scott, you know, looking at the broad-based nature of this, what's constructive is with IBM, that has been a laggard in all of this, sort of like a dinosaur of the Dow that hasn't been going along for the ride. It's in a proverbial disappointment, but it's contributing the most to the gain in the Dow today. And if you think about it, not on great news, just the fact that it doesn't seem to stink as much news, right? Revenues, they're still down. They're just not down as much as they've been declining in prior quarters, with the hope being that maybe in the next quarter, the one we're in right now, they could be nominally up, and they're running with that. What do you think of that?
I think it's a great sign, Neil, because these are kind of your father's blue chip companies. I'd throw GE in there as well, which has been a terrible performer this year. While tech has led this market up, I'll tell you, man, seeing stuff like IBM come to the forefront today, as you mentioned, with its contribution to the Dow, is great to see, because this is a sign of a healthy market. When you see this rotation into things like those blue chips I mentioned, or say financial companies, which have been behind the S&P for so many years, that is a sign of a good market as money rotates in. It doesn't come out, it rotates around, and that keeps prices going up.
Real quickly, guys, a young person comes up to you and says, I've never been in the market, but I want in now because, gosh, I've been hearing so much about this. Scott, what would you tell him?
I'd say jump in with both feet, young man. And just make sure, though, you have a long time horizon, because you're right, Neil, we're at a high cliff point here with respect to price. But if you look out in these markets 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you got to be very excited as an investor.
Larry?
You know, Neil, I would tell him, go slow, young man. Put money in over time. Average in like you do in a retirement plan. Think for the long haul. In the short run, there's going to be market volatility. We're going to get market corrections. Those are going to be your really big buying opportunities. So have a long-term perspective. Be careful, be thoughtful, but be methodical and be slow about it.
It's very interesting. You're both much younger than I, and you assumed the young person I was talking about was a man. And you don't know. I didn't telegraph that, did I? No, seriously, guys.
I thought it was me.
I didn't say anything. Guys, thank you very, very much. Again, this is what happens. You get a market like this. Should I dive in? Should I dive in? I will tell you this, folks, and this is one thing I've learned in the 30-plus years doing this. Am I that old? I guess I am. If I had a dime for everyone that says, this is the moment, get out. This is the moment, get out. Or this is the moment, get out. We'd be saying this 8 years ago with this bull market, and then 6 years ago with this bull market when it got heady, and then 5 years ago on the cover of business magazines that it was heady, heady, heady. There is no way to time this sort of thing. Your time horizon depends on your age and where you want to go. The longer that time horizon, the more you want to be in stocks. The less that time horizon, the more anxious you are. You don't want to be in stocks. We'll have more to this.